If it hurts, you ain't afraid to go get you, know let us put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, blue games after this win it. Press you again, we're here for the first May. Carry my team every 6 minutes.
Rocky Top will always be.
I mean, if you're going to start, I think you start with Dolly Parton. She was on the Howard Stern show yesterday. I called in to a radio show for the first time in my life to try and let her know how much she does for the state of Tennessee. I got rejected. So maybe I'll get to say hello to her in person. The Kansas City Chiefs can have Taylor Swift all they want. We'll take Dolly Parton on Saturday. But
I've said it from when I got here. The expectation, the standard is to play elite defense here, not just good defense. This is the home of Eric Berry, Al Wilson, Reggie White. The standard is to be elite.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And I'm saying, woo, right here.
Mark Stoops is 2-9 against this team, and to walk around this place before the game, I was disgusted. The smugness of those guys just walking around like, we're going to walk in here, we're going to kick your ass, and you can't do anything about it. And it made me sick. And you know what? They did it. They still did it. What the hell can we not? Can we just beat this team? I know that Mark Stoops has done a lot of good things. This is his one really bad thing. The stupid stat about beating teams with a winning record and taking the next step and blah, blah. Just freaking beat Tennessee. Please, can we just stop losing to this stupid team with their stupid orange color, their stupid
and you have to not lose the game before you can ever win the game.
Oh my God, we should leave it at that.
Okay.
We should close with that. That is the mind blower of mind blowers.
Good. Good Friday morning. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. Nothing hits like a morning stream. It's the last morning show, man. It's the last morning show of 2023. My name's Boogie Bentley, joined by the guy, I was going to say with the greatest jacket game in the land, but man, that jacket, you wearing that jacket, Coach, is almost like me showing up late to the stream. What's up, Coach Jay?
In a good mood. Coach Jay won a little bit of dinero on the old Arizona football game last night. So Coach Jay is feeling good. It's a brisk 45 degrees. Got really cold here out in California this morning. 45 degrees, guys. That's
really
freezing.
cold.
That's cold. That's icicles out
How
here.
are you alive out there, actually?
I barely surviving. Thank God I got this Vols jacket, ready to
go. What's up, Coach Rice? Also in the house for this last Friday morning stream. We got to get Coach Rice to quit his job so he can just jump on here with us every Friday during the season. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? You know, just enjoying break, getting to sleep in a little bit. You know, having a blast. So
some of us get to sleep in, some of us don't, right, Coach Jay? He's so tired.
I definitely do not get to sleep. I got to run a lap or something, man. I was telling you before we popped in here. Something different when you got a game, Coach Rice. It's like it's like you just up, man. It's like there's an automatic alarm clock. You pop tall, man, and you're doing jumping jacks.
Without a doubt.
Yep. So no game to get me fired up today, but looking forward to this New Year's matchup, no doubt.
I got to start the show over. These two guys coming in here dragging ass, half asleep, talking about, we ain't got nothing. I don't know if you guys heard the news. The Nico era is here. That gives me something to be excited about. Maybe I'll kick these two guys off the show and let them go back to sleep. Maybe you guys need to drink an energy drink. Maybe you guys need to wake up a little bit earlier and pour a cup of coffee. We're going to have a good time. Speaking of early, let's see who the early arrivals were. Fish and Beans was here at 8 o'clock a.m. Says, howdy, howdy. He was up so early, he says BGO. He says Big Go Orange. Fish and Beans at 8 o'clock this morning. Rocky Top Tom was here bright and early as well. Matt's in the house. What's up, brother? Justin Sanday was here. Dylan Elam is in the house. Thick Frog, I love that name, is here. Balls for Life in the house, guys. And look at it. Scott says, Guten Morgen, Ball family. What is wrong with you guys? I know it's Christmas break. You're not supposed to start drinking this early in the morning. Let's see. You got a couple of super chats. Culberson for $8 says, cultivating championships. Let the Nico era begin. Jeff Puckett for $5. Appreciate the super chat. Says door fee. We also got a $5 super chat from Dylan Elam. Says bold prediction for Nico's stat line, 17 of 21, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 touchdown rushing.
I'll take that every day.
What do y'all? How much do you think they open up this offense on the ground? You think we see Nico run the football?
I think we do. I think we do. I think we do a little bit, but with the quarterback situation, which they did last year with Joe ran a lot in the bowl games then, and Gaston was the backup. So they may prove me wrong, but I think they're just going to show off his arm and show off that talent that we've been talking about all year, as far as making reads on time and getting that ball to the guys and letting them make plays.
Yeah, no, I think most of the running you're going to see out of Nico is when the pocket breaks down. Mm-hmm. We kind of touched on it a couple times. I think that you're going to see a more amped up version of the offense we saw all year, but certainly they're going to want to keep some things under their hat for next season in light of it being a bowl game and playing with a little bit of house money here.
Brad drops a $5 super chat. We were hijacking the show. We said we were not starting the show until Brad dropped a door fee. That's the only way we've ever got Brad to do anything around here other than complain. He finally drops a door fee. Says, with Nico, cultivate Vols by Fitty. Thank you, Brad, I guess. Negavol, been a member for 15 months, says morning shows just hit different. GBO beat Iowa, checkerboard Cheez-Its for everyone. Michelle's in the house. What's up? Michelle drops an $8 super chat. You guys started this thing of dropping $8 door fees, and I like it. She says, Nico, door fee. Thank you, Michelle. The ambassador is here. Trey's in the house. Says, door fee for the Nico show. Appreciate that, brother. Louisiana Vol for $5 says, door fee. Load the box. Make them throw. Vols by 50 guys. Smash that like button. It's quick, free, and it is easy. Thank you, Louisiana Ball, for the super chat. Dustin Sellers for $5. What's up, Dustin? Says, y'all look beautiful first thing in the morning. GBO, new year, new team. Billy Todd for $2 says, door fee. Dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis for Boogie, Coach Jay, and Coach Rice. All right, we appreciate you guys being very generous right out of the gate. Brad says that's it. He's done. He's dropping his membership. Thank God. It's about time he left the channel. I've done everything I can without blocking the guy to get rid of him. Finally got rid of him. He is gone. Thank you and good night. Let's talk about this game coming up. Obviously, it's the Nico era. We're going to get into that. I want to talk a little bit about Joe. We're going to talk about the transfer portal today, too. We're going to hit it all. We're going to hear what Josh Heupel had to say, hear what Nico had to say with their media appearances. But let's talk a little bit about Joe Milton, right? His career, his time is done at Tennessee. Something, Coach Rice, that stands out to me is the fact that he's going through bowl practice. I love the picture of Coach Halsley and Joe in street clothes back there watching Nico go through practice. We were critical of Joe, but that's something that I've stood on with this channel. A lot of people think that I only do it for money. Guess what? I've been doing this for 8 years. Didn't make any money the first 6. I've been doing this a long time, and something that I committed to back from day one. Always going to give my opinion. If I don't think somebody's playing good football, I'm going to talk about it. That doesn't mean I don't respect Joe, don't pull for Joe, don't support Joe. So his time is done. I like that he is still mentoring Nico as we head into the bowl game.
Yeah. I like Joe, what he's doing, without a doubt. I've always supported him with what he's had to deal with, is, just fighting adversity, what he had to deal with at Michigan, and then transferring here, and then, earning the starting job, and then losing it due to injury, and then, sticking it out, being a good teammate. And yes, the results are to be desired, but hey, he's a great teammate. He's evolved for life. You've never been able to question his effort. Now, some of his, situational awareness, yes, but I don't think we could ever question his effort. And he's he leads in a different way. I'm not saying he's the best leader in the room, but he leads in a way where he's never had any bad character issues. And he's a mentor to Nico. I mean, he is a 6-year senior. He's been there, done that as far as being a college football player. And I think that's very instrumental in Nico's development going into next year, just knowing how this college football game is. It's different than high school, and everybody will tell you that. The schedule, the film time, everything, you have to put more effort into it. And having a 6-year senior there I think is going to be very instrumental for Nico's future success.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I said on the show the other day, Joe's the definition of a VFL for me, man. Like, guy stuck around. The guy's still there, right? Declared for the draft, still there, still coaching, still around this team. And every player that I've seen them interview and start talking about Nico, the player's been really quick to tag back to Joe. Yeah. Really quick first and be like, hey, man, Nico's an awesome leader and he's going to be great, stupendous, but Joe's a leader too, and Joe's great. And you kind of start to see maybe this team, maybe this coaching staff felt a little bit like this fan base all year. Like they knew what they had and they loved Nico and they knew he was going to be great, but they had this dude, this brother that they couldn't, let down and needed to be there and needed to get his back. The more and more I think it out in my head, we always trying to figure out, why wouldn't they make that change? And I just think Joe was good enough. And when someone's good enough like that and is a leader like that, you don't let your brother down. You get his back, right? And I think that's probably just what that was throughout the years. So we'll wish Joe the best of luck, and everyone will be rooting for him. And his time with Nico is very valuable, and Nico has said as much. So I think in hindsight, when Nico's playing his sophomore year, he's been on campus a year and a half, I think we'll be really grateful for that time that he had with Joe in that maturation time.
It's tough in a day and age, college football, 2023, the portal, right? The NIL game, and how, it's tough to create. We talk about culture all the time, that buzzword, we throw it around, chemistry, locker room chemistry, but brotherhood, right? Brotherhood is a step past all of that. And it's not just, look at Joe and Nico, right? But then look at Hendon and Joe. When Hendon got the job, like it's not the norm to sit there and say, all right, this guy beat me out. This guy took my job. Now I'm sitting here and I'm watching him get all this buzz about leading this team to a possible college football playoff, possible Heisman Trophy. And I'm sitting there going, damn, man, that was my job. But yeah, guess what? You rode with him. You stuck with him. That's what we say all the time when we say Joe chose Tennessee twice. He stuck it out and he came back. And then, now it's time to pass the torch to Nico, and he's still in that room. The relationship with Joe and Nico is very similar to, Hendon and Joe, and that's not the norm in 2023, Coach Rice. Like, that's hard to create that type of chemistry in a room. It's not like a running back room, right, where you're going to get yours, I'm going to get mine. No, quarterback, you're the guy. You're the man. Yep. You're the alpha. You're the leader. It's tough, man, and Coach Heupel's done it.
Oh, yeah. And it's very instrumental to what you said, culture and team chemistry. That brotherhood, it's, playing football and playing any team sport, but that brotherhood, that chemistry that you have as a team, it's people don't realize how meaningful that is to a team's success. If you got a cancer on the team or someone that is not vibing with what their role is, and it can bring a team down. And that's the reason why Coach Heupel has been very I guess picky about what he goes after in recruiting or what he goes after in the portal, because he doesn't want to mess up that culture and that chemistry. And so they identify, evaluate, and they don't want to mess something up that's great. I mean, great at Tennessee. And we just got to trust Coach Heupel, and that he knows what he's doing as far as culture goes, and keep it going, keep it rolling.
That's a good segue, talking about the culture and the chemistry with the transfer portal. I want to talk a little bit about the portal, then we're going to cycle back and talk about this game, see what Coach Heupel had to say, see what Nico had to say. Rocky Top Tom for 5 says, Dorfy, he may be a freshman. This offense will look like it did last year with an actual quarterback at the position, y'all. 2024 starts Monday. Man, I saw him talking about it on VolQuest, just that. Like, this is not – like, this is the start of next year. It's the youth movement, and that's the way bowl season kind of is now. You guys were talking about the Oklahoma game right before we went live, starting a true freshman quarterback. Now it's Nico's turn. This game coming up on Monday is about next year. It's not about finishing this year strong. It's about starting next year on the right foot. Negaball for 5 says, Dorfy, I'm taking Coach Jay's advice and dropping the bag on the spread. You think I should parlay the first half spread or money line too? Coach Jay, give him that betting advice. We don't condone gambling. Bet responsibly.
Take the natural number, man. Vol's going to cover that natural number. Just sit on that one, nigga. You don't need to get fancy with it. In blackjack, they always say, man, don't break up a pair of kings, right? Don't break up that winning hand. You don't need to split those. You got a winner. Just take your money.
Yeah.
Dakota for 5 says, good morning, Vol fam. Hope y'all had a great Christmas and hopefully start this new year with a win. Let's go. Shout out Dakota. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Dave Morrison for 2 says, heading to the gym wearing shorts. It's 35 degrees, Coach Jay. It's a pretty warm
and the
day.
sun's up there. I mean, that's yeah. I don't know how y'all do it.
Don't let him make y'all feel sorry for him. Me and Coach Rice offered to start the show late, and he said, no, 6:30, we ride. And I'm like, okay, we ride at 6:30 then. Trucker Dougie for 10 says, go Vols. What is up, Trucker Dougie? Good to see you in the chat. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. All right, let's cycle back around. Let's see, what did I miss? Ricky D dropped 100 on the 6.5 point spread. Has it gone back up yet? I know it started
at
what?
6.
Oh, so it's still going down.
It was at 6 last I saw.
So let's have some gambling education. Is the spread going down because why? So much money is coming in on
Nico, because of Nico. It was higher at like 8 or 9. You have your very first start. It's a very first start in a big environment. It's a huge bowl game against a stingy defense. We touched on it a little earlier last night. Oklahoma, 5-star quarterback, 5-star freshman quarterback, first start against a stingy Arizona defense. Guess what you got? You got 3 interceptions by that 5-star freshman. You had 2 sacks that he took, fumbles. So, but you also had a lot of bright spots for those of y'all who watched that game. You could just see the talent oozing through that kid, and you could see what he's going to be. And as Coach Rice pointed out when we were talking about it, he was without his offensive line really working in patchwork. So, you're going to have moments like that. I don't know how many of y'all caught Kaner's show this morning, but he was talking about Tyler Bray, his freshman start in the bowl game in the Music City Bowl. He threw 3 interceptions in that game. Casey Clausen, his freshman start, he threw 3 interceptions in that game. Peyton Manning, bowl game, he only threw 1, a lot more rushing yards back in that Gator Bowl win for Peyton. But it just goes to show you, I mean, these guys are all, these guys put up numbers at Tennessee, right? Tyler Bray, Casey Clausen, Peyton Manning. it just goes to show you you can have some young growing pains against a good defense and still be an absolute stud. So, don't be surprised if there's moments, but I fully anticipate Nico to work through them and still have a huge game.
Let me tell you the main difference between Jackson Arnold and Nico, though. We got Cooper Mays.
That's true too, and I think Nico's listen. There's 5 stars as we've talked about, Harrison Bailey, and then there's like 5 stars. You know,
there's
what I'm
generational
saying?
talents.
Yeah, there's generational talents,
yeah,
and then there's 5 stars. So
I guess my question was more like with this. You talk about fan base money coming in, right? And they start shifting that line. I understand football. I understand, hey, we got a freshman quarterback. Let's slide the line. And that's why, when you look at a line, it starts moving, and I'm going, why is it moving? And then all these gambling experts say, hey, dummy, it's because all the money's coming in this way, and Vegas wants to shift it to that way to try to balance the books.
Right, because remember, a perfectly balanced book is how they make money. They want an even amount of bets on both teams because you pay a 10% juice. So a perfectly balanced book means the casino is making 10% profit.
Kind of like roulette, right? You play roulette. Yep. You got black, you got red, and then you got that little green, and that's how the house wins because you got that little 0.5% chance of that green. Yep. Hey, let me tell you something. You can win roulette. Just always double your bet. If you lose, double. You lose, double that. You lose, double that. Eventually, you're going to hit, and now you're right back. Just bet black and red and always double your bet. You'll leave even or up. But you got to have a lot of money to do that. Because sometimes you miss that 3-4 times, you got to lay down some cash. All right.
That's called a martingale strategy, by the way. Boogie, that's called the martingale.
See, I didn't come up with that, but a gambling addict told me about it. So that's what I roll with.
I need to go to a casino with y'all, man.
Yeah, I know.
Talking Vault. We used to do a Talkin VAWLS Christmas party. We don't do that anymore because we're spread all over the country and it's impossible to do. But we talked about me and the wife going out to Vegas and meeting up with Coach Jay and Mrs. Coach Jay. It'd be awesome.
Pick me up on the way over.
Yeah, we'll grab you on the PJ. We'll grab you on the private jet on the way out to Vegas. Yeah. Maybe one day. Let's catch up on Super Chats, and we're going to talk some transfer portal. Mikey McMahon for $10 says Nico got the whole country watching the Citrus Bowl. That's what I love about the timing. There wasn't really a buzz about this game. One man changed all of that, and now there's a little bit of buzz going into New Year's Day. Jeff Puckett drops an Orange Boy. Let's roll up and let's play the clip because we have to.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Jeff says, Coach Jay, how do you think the way Iowa rolls coverage post-snap from their pre-snap look will affect Nico and the receivers? They do a good job on film of disguising coverage. Nico and receivers need to see the same thing post-snap.
A great point. Coach Rice, I think, aptly has pointed out that he believes, the slot that Squirrel could be good. And he's probably pointing that out because Iowa likes to play a lot of cover 3, right? And you can run a lot of bend seams and stuff like that out of the slot. And when you have speed, you can still beat them. But there is a caveat to that sometimes a good defensive coordinator can switch that up a little bit and show you a little variance. They can show cover 3 and then roll their DBs into, let's say, a cover 2 look and fool you. And Jeff, you are 100% right. Iowa is going to try to trick Nico all day long. They're going to do 2 things, right? They're going to bring pressure and they're going to be multiple in their coverages. So that's something that this coaching staff needs to be ready for. It's something that I have great faith in Nico on. One thing we praised him for is how well he reads a defense and how quick he goes through his progressions. And the way to beat a variance in your DBs and your coverages is with a quarterback who can really read very, very quickly and compute at a high level. So I believe that Nico can handle it, but 100% this is something that we're going to see out of not only the DBs, but I believe the linebackers too. They got some pretty good linebackers at Iowa.
Got another 20 spot from Bob. That's an Orange Boy. We'll play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Bob says Iowa's defensive ranking is misleading. The quality of offenses they have played have been ranked 60th and lower. We are number 16. We are the number 16 offense in the nation, GBO. And how much better, Bob, is that offense with Nico at the helm? I think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be improved. One thing, we talked about it a little bit Wednesday that does concern me. Coach Jay mentions bringing pressure. You got a young Cam Seldon. You got a young Dylan Sampson out there. Of course, Dylan Sampson, call him young. He's going to be a junior next season. I think he's done a better job in pass protection when asked to do it this season, but is Cam Seldon ready? Obviously, he's bigger. He's more physical. Coach Rice, you got concerns with those young running backs in pass pro?
Well, yes and no. I think on third down, you're going to see a lot of Dylan Sampson. I know Dylan Sampson had his mistakes last year, but, Coach Halsey and Coach Heupel have both admitted that Dylan Sampson has improved greatly on his pass blocking. And we saw him a lot on third down this year. Will he make a mistake? I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But I think the key to that is staying in good, situations on third down. Get 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Keep using that run game. Nico's quick decision making. That's the difference. I think the biggest difference is the decision making Nico makes versus what Joe, because Joe was one that would stand like a statue in the pocket, wait, and maybe he was making the right read, maybe not, but it just seemed like to me it seems like Nico's better suited for a team that brings pressure. I'm just not very worried about it. Not only that, I think Coach Heupel's going to scheme against it. And if I was the OC, I'd be prepping for that majorly. So I'm not really too worried about it.
Yeah, one other thing too, it's just going to kill Timothy. But in a game like this, you actually need, in my opinion, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Coach Rice, but to me, I would want more option routes in this game and less timing routes. But maybe you see it different, and that's the beauty of the game. I don't know.
No, well, I mean, it's because how much they disguise their coverages. And that's one thing that is a worry, but I agree. They're playing a lot of cover 3. You got quick hot routes out of that Nico and the wide receivers outside know they can identify and switch to. So that I agree. I do like a lot of option routes, and I've always been a proponent for option routes, but it's just because it puts you in the right spot no matter what. As long as they can read the coverages, you're set. So we'll see how it goes, but I think Nico and the wide receivers, as long as they're on the right keys, you got to remember, we've had 3 weeks to prepare for Iowa.
Yep.
So they've seen, tons of film and kind of sure that Iowa's not going to roll something out they haven't done all season. So I think we'll be fine.
You mentioned something, though, them being on the same page. And, yeah, they had extra time. And it's been confirmed. Nico's been taking the reps as QB1 for all of bowl practice. So they've had time, but that's not a whole season, right? And they've even asked Nico and Heupel, and, they give the right answer. They say, oh, yeah, these guys, he gets a lot of run with these top, one wide receivers. Caleb Webb, Chaz Nimrod, Dante Thornton before he went down. Yeah, he gets plenty of reps with it. Does he? Or is Joe taking the reps with the ones and Nico's taking the reps with the twos? So we'll see if they're on the same page. If you're going to run those option routes, we'll see. This is Ricky D for 5 says Talkin VAWLS needs an official jersey in the shop. Make it happen, Boogie. Ricky D customized a Talkin VAWLS jersey. It's a number 98 authentic jersey, and it says Talkin VAWLS as the name on the back. I'm here for it. Appreciate that, Ricky D. Darth Ball for 50. That ain't cheap.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Darth Vol with the biggest super chat of the stream. We appreciate that, brother. Says, I'm back. Hit my $1 Million laugh. It's Nico time. Happy for Joe that he has a chance at the NFL. Most excited about Thunder and Lightning. Cam Seldon and Dylan Sampson calling it now. They're combining for over 1,500 yards next season.
I'm here for that. I agree. I think they will hit that.
I think it'll be more than that. I think it'll be 1750, like 1,750 or maybe even 2,000.
Lord.
Hey, you got all 5 starting offensive linemen back.
Yeah.
And people are going to have – you heard it now. People are going to have to respect the pass game more than they did this year.
Yep. And they were a great run team, So, yeah, I kind of agree with you, actually, Coach Rice, the more I think about it.
The offense is going to be 2022. It's going back to what Josh Heupel's offense is meant to be. That's what's about to happen. All the criticism of Joey Halsley is going to be gone. All the criticism of the wide receivers is going to be gone. It's all going to be back to 2022, which is what brings me back to the transfer portal. Shout out Darth Ball. Appreciate that super chat, my man. Very, very generous. I made a video yesterday talking about the transfer portal. Coach Rice hit me up on this later in the day because when I rolled this video out on Evan Stewart, I got a lot of comments that said AP said it's not happening. AP said it's not happening. Well, guess what? J.D. Piquel says it is happening. He is predicting Evan Stewart to Tennessee. I saw where AP in the war room just this morning said things change. Things change when it comes to the transfer portal, and Tennessee has a shot at Evan Stewart. So let's kind of talk about one of my questions. If you guys hadn't figured it out yet, a lot of times I make videos and I don't answer questions. I ask questions. I like to get your opinions, your feedback, what you think. You have the keys to the castle, Coach Jay. You get to make all the decisions in the world. We're just talking about this offense going back to 2022. Let me tell you something, brother, in the words of Hulk Hogan. You add Evan Stewart, he instantly becomes wide receiver number 1. Do you spend the money? Do you push all in? You've already got Brazel. You've added him 6'5". He's going to be a threat. You got weapons. We just talked about the running backs. We talked about the entire offensive line coming back. Brew McCoy could likely be coming back. Do you push the chips in and add a weapon in Evan Stewart, or do you take that money and say, I think we're going to be okay at wide receiver. Let's go fix the defense?
I mean, he's the type of talent I think you got to take him with maybe the caveat if you feel like you can pull one of the big dog corners, maybe the kid that just came out from LSU or the kid on here that we see from Georgia. Has he already committed to Auburn? No, right?
No.
I don't think he had yet after that. So there was some speculation that he might. But if you could maybe get one of them over him, then maybe you do it. But you don't turn down a talent like that if it's a for sure thing. You get him on campus, and you give Nico all the weapons.
I'm wanting. I'm off as a coordinator, so I want more. I want more toys to play with. So give me Evan Stewart, and let's go score 50 points a game. And hey, if you want to beat us, you got to outscore us. So Evan Stewart. Brew McCoy, if he comes back, Chris Brazell, Squirrel White, sign me up. Hey, if that means I love Caleb Webb, I love Chaz Nimrod, but if that means one of them two or both of them enter the portal, guys, I've said it and y'all seen me say it, I've said it on Twitter, I've said it on here. If you want to win natties, you have to have elite players. Evan Stewart is an elite player, and I don't go off of what his production was last season. They played 4 different quarterbacks. He battled in a couple small nagging injuries. Go back to his freshman season. Pull me up what he did his freshman season, and we'll talk.
There's a reason why he's the number 1 wide receiver in the portal.
Exactly.
And he was the number 2 overall player in the portal behind Walter Nolan. Dylan for 2 says, rather push the chips in for Stewart other than Juice Wells, which obviously the Juice Wells ship has sailed. Jeff Puckett for 5 says, thanks, guys, for your opinions on it. I worry about the receivers seeing the same thing post-snap with Nico, but I think that's where he will use his legs. Thank you, Jeff, for the super chat. We appreciate that, brother. You know, I mentioned all this in the video yesterday, but Evan Stewart grew up a Tennessee fan. Man, that gives you the advantage. Said his first college football game ever was a Tennessee game. Talked about wearing Tennessee wristbands and the smoky gray jerseys sitting up in the stands. So he has that love for Tennessee. They're going to try to get him on campus coming up maybe even as soon as next week. I think that's where we'll start to see where this is really going. Does Tennessee legitimately have a shot with Evan Stewart? But the other big one, and again, it kind of of goes back to, if you could choose, if you could take one or the other, Coach Rice going with Evan Stewart. Coach Jay, you're the defensive coordinator. You got a guy like A.J. Harris in the portal. He's the number 2 corner in the portal, 7th overall dude in the portal. Tennessee's going to have a shot to get him on campus. According to VolQuest this morning, he is scheduled to be in town next week. But again, they said keep your head on a swivel because it's always changing. What do you think about A.J. Harris? And if you had to pick, you can't have both. You got to pick one. Which one you going with, Coach Jay?
Oh, man, I'm a defensive guy, so I'm going to ride with defense, right? I'll take AJ, and I think I've heard a rumor. Isn't he trying to switch to safety? Yeah.
Yes.
So, I think that plays to the Vols extremely well. So, you give me Jermon McCoy at one corner, Ricky Gibson at the other, maybe sprinkle in a little Boo Carter at star, flying in with Jordan Thomas, T-Lander, and then throw a little A.J. Harris in there too. Man, all of a sudden that Vol secondary, it's getting a little tighter. Those windows are getting tighter. You're going to be able to jam at that line better, come up against the run better, and all of a sudden you'll be granting James Pierce maybe another full second to get to that quarterback, which I think is going to be absolute death to a lot of quarterbacks.
Hey, in Radio's words, if you've ever seen the movie Radio, I'll take both.
Yeah. Let's take both and let's roll, man. You land Evan Stewart and you land A.J. Harris, and then you look again. I think Josh Heupel has done a great job with the portal since arriving at Tennessee. And then you look at this year, you need a tight end. What do? You go get the best tight end in the portal, right? You need a corner. What do? You go get Jermon McCoy. You need a safety. You get a guy that's leaving Georgia because he wants to play safety, not corner. You tell him, hey, look, we got the safety position wide open. You need help at wide receiver? You go get Evan Stewart. Why not get both? Mikey McMahon for $10 says 2022, our defense wasn't that consistent, and we won because our offense was explosive. Spend the money on Evan Stewart. Get ready, Vols fans. It's about to feel like the late 90s. Go Vols. #cultivate. I love
Preach.
it. And going back to what you said, Coach Rice, so many people are worried, and I get it because we spent 10 minutes talking about culture. Everybody's worried about kids' feelings. Well, what happens if they get upset and they transfer out? See ya. Evan Stewart is better than you. That's a good thing. And we're seeing it with the defense, right? The only difference is they asked him to leave before. So they all transferred out. Now you're looking for the pieces of the puzzle to put that secondary back together. If you add elite talent at wide receiver and Chaz Nimrod or Caleb Webb want to transfer out, guess what? Your wide receiver room just took a step forward. It got better. It upgraded. That is a good problem to have. Iron sharpens iron, and if you don't want to sharpen, then get out the tool shed and let's move on.
Hey, winning cures everything. Winning cures everything. Go win a natty, and we won't think a single thing about it.
Yeah, hey, we're not going to stop until we get to where we're going. So, like Jalen Hyatt says, man, no one's got a spot. They working out there. So,
exactly.
So slots. So we're talking about Squirrel White. Squirrel White's a great kid. And I think you get plenty of rotation time anyway, even with an Evan Stewart, and be able to affect the game. And what a weapon to have. One of the things that's great about Hype's offense is it tires defenses out.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're dragging tail come third quarter and Evan Stewart's getting a spell and you're going to take a deep breath, and now all of a sudden a fresh Squirrel White's coming in to run a seam route, best of luck, whoever that DB is who drew that crappy bingo card.
I saw somebody bring that up, I think in the comments, or maybe it was on one of the message boards, talking about if you add more talent, if you add a guy like Evan Stewart and your wide receiver room gets that much more deep, do you think we finally see this coaching staff rotate wide receivers?
I think you got to.
You think so? Because we've heard it. We've heard it for 3 years. We heard it in 2022. Alex Goller saying we'll probably play 6-7 guys. They played 3. Year 1, they played 3. This year, they played 3 until injury forced their hand, and they had to play more than 3.
I think you got to go 6. If we got a wide receiver room, listen to this. We got a wide receiver room of Brew, Brazil, Squirrel White, Evan Stewart, and Dante Thornton. You better play all 6 guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And if someone goes down, you still got Nimrod. You still got Webb. I've seen a couple people, worried like, oh, what happens with Spillman's brother? If he gets upset and transfers out, are we going to lose both of them? And To me, you just can't play like that. You got to play natural. You got to treat each kid like they're their own kid. And if you lose them as a pair like that, yeah, so be it. You got to keep moving forward.
Yep.
I want to throw a couple of other names here on the screen that VolQuest mentioned this morning. First one, Jalen McMurray. He's a corner. I'm not very familiar with this dude. He's from Temple. But Tennessee is also, in the words of VolQuest, going to kick the tires. Do either one of you know anything about this kid? You can see there on the screen, not even rated as a transfer. So I think this is probably more of a depth piece. He's 6 foot, 180 pounds. He's a redshirt junior. Will be a redshirt junior. This season, 2023, he was named to the preseason All-AAC third team. Let's see, what else does it say here? Added to the Werfel Award watch list preseason, weekly captain, served as the team's starting corner. Didn't play in week 4 due to injury. Not a whole lot listed there. Stats-wise, of course they don't have any stats listed. Depth piece, you guys probably, most likely.
Yeah. I haven't heard much about him. I haven't even seen him as far as portal injury. Normally I'm, glued to the portal, so this guy never passed my list.
Yeah, I saw him come out and did a little tiny bit of digging on it, and he seemed kind of like what's that line in Rudy? I wasn't the biggest, strongest, fastest guy in my team, but I had the most tackles. He's one of those kids. You know what I mean? He's gonna outwork everyone else on the field. He ain't the most talented or fast, but he's steady Eddie, and nothing wrong with one of those kids.
Theo Jackson type.
Yeah. You're gonna have injuries, as we all know. So give me all the football players at the end of the day. That's what I want. It's just nothing but a bunch of football players on my team.
And this is the other one that VolQuest threw out. Nick Scourton, 6'4", 280 edge guy. You can see he is rated in the portal. Number 2 ranked defensive lineman, top 10 player. Coach Rice, I know this one was on your radar. Yeah. Let's see, 6'4", 280. He's a junior, listed as a junior. So he's on your radar. What do you think?
Strong side defensive end, man. Perfect fit. He got the body type. Someone that's good against the run. I've watched some game film on him. Great against the run. He's not just a one-do-it guy. He's great against the run. Obviously, he was either led the Big Ten this year in sacks or was second in the Big Ten. I can't remember.
I think he led the Big Ten, actually.
Well, yeah. So he's a two-way guy as far as getting, pressure and applying against the run. So I want to say I would love to see him in orange and white. I know there's a couple big dogs out there. I saw on Twitter someone put out that he's set up visits to Louisville and Florida State maybe. But he's definitely a guy that I would love to have opposite of James Pierce. Takes away double teams, man. When you got 2 dominant edge guys and then you got Big O and Omar Normalot in the middle, teams can't double team. Like it's you get your one-on-one matchups, and I'll take James Pierce and this dude every day one-on-one. And let's go get after the quarterback, and let's just make that back end a lot better by getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, I agree. He's a grown-ass man, that kid. Yeah. And we talk about on that opposite side end from Pierce being able to maintain that gap with violence. And this is a kid, when you flick on his film, that can 100% do that. And we need it because those backside pull counters, we're getting beat on pretty handily around that end all season long. It was a problem.
While you all are talking, I'm ignoring everything that comes out of your mouths, and I'm scouring the internet.
That's fair.
Trying to find the connection because VolQuest said that Scourton was connected to Jamad McCoy. So I don't know if they're from the same high school, same area. So there's that connection that plays into Tennessee's advantage.
Texas.
As well.
Yeah, they have a Texas connection somehow, I bet.
I wonder where McCoy went to.
I can't think of the name of it. I watched a bit of his film for the breakdown, but can't remember.
Yeah, it says he's out of White House, Texas. So just some.
Yeah, that sounds where it was. Yeah, White House.
Well, the bottom line is there's that connection there. We'll see if Tennessee plays into that. Let me catch up here with you guys in the chat. Dave for 5, appreciate the super chat. Says Stewart will probably want a bag drop over his love for Rocky Top. That's just the way it is now. Me over we. That's why Heupel is very selective. Sometimes, Dave, sometimes it is the way. You know, we had the interview with Bennett Warren on Wednesday, and after we went off air, Coach Jay talking about one of his favorite things that he said was when we asked him about NIL, he said that wasn't even on the table. That wasn't part of the conversation. And you wouldn't think that an elite offensive tackle, one of the best in the cycle, I think he might be a top 150-ish type player. I can't remember exactly where he's at. Bottom line is, you're talking about a top 150 guy, one of the best offensive tackles in the country, and NIL was not a concern or part of the conversation. It's not always money. Sometimes it is, but not always.
Yeah, you know, and look, with this kid, it could be that NIL is part of it, but is the third place bid, you know, enough money to get him because of his love for Rocky Top? Is second place, maybe you don't got to, you know, I'm just throwing out arbitrary numbers, guys, but maybe you don't got to give him 500 grand, but 300 grand is enough to get him. And you can kind of be smart from that side. It seems like this staff is being really intelligent with their NIL and showing good business acumen, right? Because you got to be a good businessman, because if you just run it crap, your business, I don't care what business it is, it's going to go down the crapper, right? And we'll see if teams like Ole Miss are really running their business well, or are they just buying everything on credit and then they're going to, you know, flush it down the toilet, and then it's going to be gone in the near future and not work out and be stuck with Lane Kiffin moving on to greener pastures. I guess time will truly tell. We'll see.
That's what Lane Kiffin's doing, right? He's putting all the chips in the pot to make one run in 2024, and then he thinks I'm bouncing. It's a power move. I don't know if I blame him. Right? Why not?
He'll be at Florida.
Yeah, that's where I think he ends up too, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Him recruiting in the state of Florida.
It will be dangerous. The only thing that brings me solace is he absolutely crashed the Ferrari he was handed when he went to USC, and they had a ton of talent when he went there, and he recruited extremely well and extremely fertile recruiting land out here, and proceeded to crash that Ferrari straight into a wall and blow it up. So
don't you think he's better though now than he was? I mean, he was so young at that time.
Yeah, I think you get better and older, but you know, he still hasn't kind of had that breakthrough moment as a head coach. So I think that is hard to do. So what do you think about it, Coach Rice?
He's still got his Lane Kiffin personality.
Yeah,
I mean, it's until he starts, you know, taking the, I guess, big thing of humble pie and learning to, you know, be. There's one thing about being having an arrogant personality, and then there's another thing of being humble about it and respecting your opponent. And I don't see him ever getting over that hurdle and being as great as, you know, I hate saying it, being as great as I think he can be, because I mean, we've all seen it. He's an elite offensive mind, and you know, he's still got some growing up to do. So
to me, it's like the Mark Stoops conversation. Like, he has the dream job at Kentucky, right? He doesn't ever have to cross that line. He doesn't have to go beat Bama and go win an SEC championship. I think Lane Kiffin could stay at Ole Miss forever and have success and win 9-10 games a year, and people would be happy, right? And he could make a lot of money. Or does he try to step up? You know, what do you want? You want to go chase championships, or do you just want to kind of be content with where you're at? So, all right, we're going to move into the bowl game. We're 48 minutes in. We've not even talked. This is 2 full shows. This is almost 3 hours of live streaming, and we've not talked about the bowl game. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a listen to what Josh Heupel had to say when he met with the media. This was after it was confirmed that Nico was going to be rolled out there as QB1. There's a little pep in the step of the old ball coach, and he looks a little giddy. Let's take a listen. You guys want to change directions, you know how to do that. Coach Jay, Coach Rice, you guys got something you want to say while he's talking, let me know, and we'll pause it up and talk about it.
Excited to be here in the city of Orlando. For a lot of us, it's a place that we called home for 3 weeks. Excited to be back here. Thankful to the Florida Citrus Committee. They put on a great event. I've known that for a long time. Obviously, it culminates with a really big football game. Want our players to enjoy the city this week when they're in the football meetings and practice, be engaged. That'll be important for us to go out and play the way that we need to against a really good Iowa football team. Also want to thank UCF, their administration, coaching staff, allowing us to use their facilities. It's first-class operation and a bunch of great people that have helped me along our way as well.
You think Central Florida likes him and Danny White? I mean, we poached. We absolutely backed our way into 2 home run hires in Danny White and Josh Heupel, and now UCF just kind of left sitting there going, oh, and now you guys are going to come back and use our facilities, which obviously I don't know.
I don't know how I'd feel about it, but I mean, to me, I think they have probably a hate. Hate's a little strong, but a dislike for him and Danny White, the way they left. But they got to realize, hey, there wasn't no way you're supposed to pay Josh Heupel and Danny White and have the facilities and the the magnitude of a program that Tennessee has to offer.
Yeah, the UCF's got a fun little program there. They're starting to enter big boy football, right? They're entering a major conference starting next year, and I think they have the largest student base in the country, if I'm not mistaken. So I think they can build something there, but I believe they were just a little too early in that process, and obviously Tennessee is what Tennessee is. So
they're actually already in the Big 12. This is their first year.
Okay, gotcha. And KJ Jefferson's headed there, right? He'll be their quarterback next year.
He hasn't committed yet, but I've seen several crystal balls for him.
Okay.
Joe helping out, is he still around?
Yeah, Joe's been with us throughout bowl preparation, just as he was going through his process of how he was going to handle things at the end. Guys are excited to get an opportunity to play with Nico. They appreciate Joe, obviously, for everything that he's done. He's been a great teammate to everybody inside of that locker room. He's been a great teammate to Nico as well. He's been a part of the preparation. He'll be with us all week long and continue to help us in that way.
Josh, what do you like where Nico is right now in his journey?
Look at that grin on his face.
Yeah, he's smart. He's competitive. When he makes a mistake, and young players are always going to do that, he continues to learn and grow from it, doesn't repeat it. He's got the ability to reset from play to play, day to day. Extremely talented. Everybody's known that. But I love the way that he works inside of our building, and he's got a great demeanor about him. But he's great at communicating with his teammates as well.
How different?
They know he's $1 million guy. Like
they do.
Mm-hmm. He's just he's giddy, like you said, he's giddy, and he's ready to show it off on the field. And you don't see coaches like that very often.
I see people on Twitter throw this out there, and I agree. The amount of overreaction to Nico on January 1st is going to be through the roof. He's either going to be the greatest player of all time, or he's an absolute bust and he's never going to have any success at the University of Tennessee. And one person on the internet is probably going to eat that more than anybody. If he throws one incompletion, Coach Jay, one incompletion, the chat is going to eat you alive on Monday night. You know it's going to happen, but there's going to be overreactions one way or the other. Look, you're going against a top 5 defense, and I know Bob said it earlier. They're a little overrated. They play in the Big Ten. It is what it is. They're still a good defense. Nico's got his hands full coming up on Monday, but I still think he's going to go ball out and show us what he's all about.
Yeah, everyone and their mother, right, has been like, temper your expectations. He's a young freshman. Heck, even I came on here and was like, 5-star Jackson Arnold, threw 3 picks, and Tyler Bray threw 3 picks, Clausen threw 3 picks, and battered Vol syndrome this, battered Vol syndrome that. But listen, shake all that off. Nico gonna go ball out tomorrow. All right, like, give me all the smoke. I'll take it. Let's overreact. Let's put on our orange tinted sunglasses and be fans for a minute, because I think Nico gonna take off and eat, man. I think he's gonna eat.
Okay, I cannot wait. And by the
Yep.
way, they play on Monday, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know these Friday morning
I want it to be tomorrow.
I know these Friday morning streams, they hit different, and we're always looking to the game tomorrow, but I don't even know what day it is, what day of the week it is half the time anymore. We got to get back on football schedule. That's what keeps me sane.
Is he from the guy that you saw play live last year as a high school kid through spring practice to now?
Yeah, he's continued to grow so much fundamentally, allowed him to play at this level, continued to grow consistency, fundamentals, decision-making, being accurate with the football, in command of what we're doing offensively. This will be his first opportunity to start against a really good defense, but excited to go play with him.
How do you approach setting expectations for Nico? He's talented, but he's never started a game. This is a good defense he's facing.
Yeah, this is going to be his first start. At the end of the day, we got to play well enough. He's got to play well enough to help us go win this football game. That's ultimately what we're trying to accomplish. I said it to the guys earlier. It's important. Anytime you have a young player, and I don't care what position he's playing, that the other 10 guys around him play at a really high level and do the ordinary things really consistently to allow that guy to function and operate at the level that he's capable of. Listen, this game's never perfect. We don't expect Nico to go out and play perfect. Expect him to reset and give our playmakers an opportunity to go make plays.
How much do you have to lean on guys like Cooper, the tight ends who are veterans? Because at points, I mean, you could have, Nico handing it off to Cam Selden, who are true freshmen.
Yeah, well, that's, the nature of bowl season now is that a lot of young guys that have played throughout the course of the season, not necessarily in the roles that they're going to have an opportunity to play in during the bowl game itself. And so young guys got to step up and go take advantage of that opportunity. You can look back at the last couple of years and you can see the young guys that have stepped up in those roles when given the opportunity. This is his first opportunity to go out and start a football game, be in command of it, the week of preparation. Expect him to handle the week the right way and go out and play extremely well.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey,
go ahead, Coach. Yeah,
dude, he knows what's in the bag. Like, he knows what's fixing to happen. But at the same time, I think Nico, with what Nico brings to the table, and Cam Selden, this youth movement, and they talked about it the other day on VolQuest. This youth movement, it helps for the emotion getting ready for this game. These guys want to play. Like some of these veteran teams of guys that didn't opt out or everything, it's just another game. These young guys like Ricky Gibson, Jordan Thomas, Dylan Saps, like all of them. I mean, it's pretty much a whole team besides your offensive line, D-line, and tight ends. They all want to play. Like, they want to get out there. Hey, we're here. We're here. We just go run the table in 2024, and we just show y'all what we worth.
Yeah, I mean, just still, guys, to tag back on his demeanor. Think about when we were watching his press conference after the Missouri game and after the Georgia game, and how dejected
he hadn't shaved in like a week, and
he hadn't shaved in like a week. Yeah, he looked like he had a cabin out in the Smokies, and was stressed that there wouldn't be enough food for the winter. And right now he looks like he's playing with house money. So shout out on the good shave job by Coach Heupel. Yeah. He certainly looks excited.
Rocky Top Tom, been a member for a year. Appreciate that, Tom. Says, woo right here. It's going to be hard to stay humble if Nico does what we expect. Dirty Oklahoma and Texas will want back in the Big 12 when Tennessee starts cranking at 100%. Man, I'm excited about this game. Coach Rice mentioned the youth movement, the guys that are chomping at the bit for their opportunity. Do we see some Ethan Davis on Monday? The future, man. I'm so excited about the future of this football team. We've been talking about the young guys for so long, covering recruiting and talking about how big landing Jordan Matthews, Ricky Gibson, Christian Conyer, how big all that was. Now it's time for them to go out and play. I saw VolQuest say that 9 scholarship defensive backs on this entire roster. You're likely going to see all three of those guys, Christian Conyer, Ricky Gibson, Jordan Matthews, all three likely to get some run. Andre Turrentine at safety, Jordan Thomas at nickel. Do we see John Slaughter? We're going to see what the future of this football team looks like, and it's a launching point. Nelson wants to see Khalifa Keith. He's going to be a Heisman Trophy running back. That's what's going to happen, because that's what happens when one little question about his speed, and now he's the next great thing. He's the next Jamal Lewis in waiting.
It's going to happen, Boogie.
Okay, let me catch up.
I think he'll get some few carries. I think he may be the spell guy. I still think they play the
thick six. That's a great.
I think they use him kind of like they used Dylan Sampson this year, maybe a little bit. Not as much. I think Dylan Sampson and Cam Selden will, without a doubt, get the majority of the carries, maybe 15 each. But I can see Keith getting, 4 or 5 carries and, spelling at the end of a series or something like that.
Peyton Lewis is going to walk on campus and immediately run right. You talk about speed. Yeah, he's going to show you speed. He's going to run right past Keith, and he's going to be running back number 3. He's the future. Yeah. That's who I'm excited about. Drago, man, y'all talking about Coach Heupel's beard and being in a cabin. I was thinking he was preparing to fight Drago, and now Drago's in the chat talking about Evan Stewart. I dropped a video yesterday on Evan Stewart, breaking that down. If you missed that, go back, give it a watch. Also, you can rewind this live stream about 30 minutes. We gave the update on Stewart, so we will see. They're going to try to get him on campus next week. Blackout Jones for 5. Nothing to say, just a tip in the tip jar. We appreciate that, my man. Bob for 8. Thank you for the super chat, brother. If Nico and company smoke Iowa's D by 3 touchdowns, what will the media be saying about the future of the Vols? It's going to be great. If they go out and they light up the scoreboard against Iowa, guess what? Evan Stewart, maybe now that $300,000 dropped to $200,000, dropped to $150,000, dropped to I don't care about money. I'm going to come win the Biletnikoff with Nico in Knoxville. Blackout Jones for another 2 says this is their preseason before the season. 100%. That's what the bowl games seem to be becoming. It's all about the future. It's not about wrapping up the season. It's about the future. I was going to make a statement, but I guess we can just go right back to Joe.
Yeah, if you're not in the playoff, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. The Orange Bowl felt a little different last year. Maybe a New Year's Six Bowl feels a little different.
I don't know. Georgia and Florida State are moving on to the future.
Yeah, how many guys opted out for Florida State? It was ridiculous.
Georgia and Florida State. Georgia's got so many transfers, it's crazy, and then Florida State's only got like 50 scholarship guys available.
That's insane, man. That's insane.
Wow.
Ricky D for 5 says he never makes the same mistake twice. Pretty much says it all. Thank you, Ricky D, for the super chat. We appreciate it. Let's get back in here to Coach Hype.
You seen him come out of his shell at all since he's kind of been the guy in practice? Have you seen him kind of change his demeanor with his teammates?
Well, I think during the course of, all off season, throughout the course of the fall, as he's gained command of what we're doing, being able to communicate with wide receivers after a play, our offensive linemen, he does it in a way that they react and respond extremely well to him. So that's just the part of growing into the player that you're going to be. The quarterback position, the first thing you have to do is, learn your job and learn what's going on around you. Then those leadership traits and communication traits start to come out.
A lot of people wonder about his chemistry with the receivers. With the way you guys practice, is that
this is what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, jumpy.
He's at with having a feel for what Chaz does or what Squirrel does or whoever in certain things.
Yeah, during the course of the season, we get a lot of reps with our guys that, would be considered 2s. And so he's had a lot of growth throughout the course of the season during game preparation, but out on the practice field as well. During the bowl prep, we emphasize the young guys a lot early. We have some young wide receivers that have played a lot of football. Those guys were considered young. He's gotten a lot of reps with those guys even before we got into the actual game prep. So he's gotten a lot of work with those guys. It's not an entire season of volume with them, but I anticipate those guys being on the same page.
This is the second straight bowl game where Gaston's literally a snap away from being the guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, his familiarity with the scheme, the offense, how much does that, give you peace of mind to know if something happens, you're okay with
Yeah,
that?
he's functioned well during the course of the season, during spring ball, during training camp. He's handled bowl preparation extremely well. He's got really good command of what we're doing.
the numbers say Iowa has a really, really good defense.
Yeah.
What have you seen just on film and looking at them?
Yeah, it's not just the numbers that say they got a really good
I like it.
defense. You can watch the film.
Yeah.
You know, they're dialed in.
They
They
do.
make you earn it. They don't give up a bunch of big plays. That's in the pass game, and in the run game, they're really good on third downs, getting off the football field. They've created zero and negatives. They adjust during the course of the ball game extremely well to the things that they're seeing. It will be important for us to go maximize our opportunities and create big plays. But you got to sustain drives in this one. And so, you know, first and second down are really important, not to be in third and long. And third down, you got to convert.
Everybody talks about, I like to talk about numbers too, right? I rattle them off every time we talk about Iowa. I talk about being a top 5 defense, their scoring defense, but their offense sucks. And you go look at their games, man. Like, look, just running them down. They beat Wisconsin 15-6. It sounds like college baseball scores. They lost to Minnesota 12-10. They beat Northwestern 10-7. They beat Illinois 15-13. Nebraska 13-10. They played 2 ranked teams. Penn State, they didn't score a single point. 31-0. They got blanked. Other ranked team, Michigan, got blanked 26-0. So, yeah, their defense is really good, but their offense sucks. Their offense is awful. What's the number, Coach Jay? How many points does Tennessee have to score to beat Iowa?
I'm going to go with 14 to feel comfortable, right? I think they're going to get 3 field goals. I believe my prediction was 9 for them. So, you know, just in case, you know, they get another field goal in there, I'd feel really safe at 14. But you don't feel like a lot, especially with their offense and what kind of condition it's in.
I think one thing is very critical, and we really ain't talked to it much. With how bad, how terrible, how horrible, how whatever other bad word you could describe their offense is field position. We're going to be 40 plus the whole game. 40 plus the whole game. You can't tell me Josh Heupel's offense isn't going to go out there and score 30. I'm going to say 28 plus with the field position we're going to have the whole game. And then you throw in, yes, they got the Ray Guy Award. They got the best punter in the nation. So
Yeah.
what? So what?
We got a pretty dang good punter too.
We got D. Williams. We got D. Williams, and then we got an offense that can get. So let's go. Like I said, 42-14 is going to be my final score.
Dylan Elam for 5 says, how in the hell did we back into Heupel after Dooley, Butch, and Pruitt? You know, I've used those exact words all the time. We backed into the hiring of Josh Heupel. Sometimes you got to burn it to the ground. Sometimes you got to hit rock bottom to reset and come out of the ashes. And that's exactly what happened. And it started with you know, landing Danny White. That's it. Danny White is the home run hire. Heupel's a great hire. But guess why we got hype? Because we got Danny White. Like, that's where it starts. The administration is in alignment. Danny White's the man, and we got Josh Heupel. Look at that face.
Yeah, I was like, he looks high.
Yeah, you just caught it at that perfect moment, no doubt about it.
All right, let's hear some more. Let's get that smile back on his face.
How those young guys throughout this whole process, how they kind of come into their own and stepping up.
Yeah, again, it's an opportunity for young guys to step into the roles that they want. They got to go take it. They've been really good in our bowl preparation. They've gotten a bunch of work. You know, as we started, you know, after the regular season ended, those guys have been in the fold the entire time. Excited to go see those guys play.
What have you seen from Dylan Sampson that shows he's prepared to take over that running back 1 position?
Yeah, D-Sam, you know, just the way he's played throughout the course of the season, and he'll have more opportunities in this one, but he's smart, he's competitive, he's a really good leader, he's been dynamic when he's had opportunities and the ball's been in space. We're going to need him to play and function at a really high level.
Staying in the backfield, what about Cam, his development throughout the course of the year, learning the running back position, get more comfortable?
Yeah. Well, again, the way that we practice, he gets a lot of reps during the course of a normal game week. He's continued to grow, understanding, you know, our schemes versus what we're seeing front-wise, how to press his aiming points, deliver double teams. He's dynamic, you know, he's strong, he's physical. Excited to see him play, but see Khalifa play as well.
Oh, there's Khalifa again. Who are you guys the most excited about? Obviously, everybody's excited about Nico, but when we talk about the youth movement and the guys in the secondary, the guys on offense, I'm going Cam Seldon because of it. Man, his size. Like, one of my favorite things when we were covering his recruitment was seeing him on the track. And, like, his blazing speed, and you got all these small dudes out there running. He looked like an NFL linebacker smoking these guys. Like, he's not just size. Like, Khalifa Keith looks slow to me, Nelson. He looks slow to me, brother. But Cam Seldon looks blazing fast and still has that size as well. That's who I'm the most excited to see on Monday outside of Nico.
Yeah, I'll take Ricky Gibson, but I have an honorable mention here. Nathan Laycock. Are we going to see Nathan in this game? I think we very well could, and he could be a kid that even complicates this receiver room a little bit more next year. You know, we haven't really talked about him, but just a big monster of a kid with all kinds of speed and a freak on the football field.
That's John Slaughter. I want if they rotate at safety, if because we know they don't do that at safety, but hey, if he gets in, y'all, his athleticism and speed alone, he's just he fits some of the descriptions we've talked about with Boo Carter. He's a player. He's a dude. He's a go-getter. He gets the ball, and just from the high school film and just from all the talk we've heard from VolQuest and these other websites that get to see them practice, this dude is electric. And why? I mean, I know he's a true freshman, but he's someone that I can't wait to see in the ball game. I mean, I just want to see him on that back end, go get the ball and take it back to the house.
Athleticism.
Yes.
That's the key to this youth movement in the secondary. Unless they grant Jalen McCullough a 17th year of eligibility, we're going to see more athleticism in that secondary in 2024. Let's wrap it up here with Coach Hype. Got a couple of minutes left in this one.
Yeah, a lot better than it was at the end of the regular season, but we'll see as we continue to get to game time who's actually ready to go play.
I saw a story where nobody in the SEC is using the in-helmet communication during bowl season, which I guess is available for most every bowl. Why is that the case? Why did you guys consider, particularly with Nico, did you give it any extra consideration for a young quarterback?
When that decision was made, we didn't know Nico would be the starter. At this point, there's a lot that's been going on during the course of December, and with everything that's going on, just status quo a little bit.
I don't believe you.
How we function, operated, what was used on the sidelines, all that.
Is that something? I mean, there's talk about that maybe becoming a real thing in the regular season. Is that something that's going to take a while to kind of investigate as to whether it fits your offense from a functionality?
Yeah, I think the operation of that, is it just the quarterback, or does it involve your skill players too? You look at how really everybody communicates a majority of the football game. Very few teams are all 11 guys in the huddle at one time.
I think that's an interesting talking point, and then we'll come back to what you're laughing about, Coach Jay. I think it's an interesting talking point, though, having the gimmick in the helmets where you can talk directly to the quarterback. With Heupel's offense, he immediately mentions, is the radio going to be in the skill position players too? Because we're all about tempo and going fast. Everybody's looking at that sideline. You got the Wiggles over there with their green and blue, and they're going ham. Everybody's getting that signal, and then we're getting on the ball and we're going. If you're telling Nico, all right, this is the play we're running, then Nico's got to turn around and talk to the offensive linemen, the running backs. You know what I mean? I don't know that radio would benefit Tennessee in what Josh Heupel wants to do.
Well, for one, it's key that they're never going to give it to the skill guys. I just don't see them doing that. They haven't done it in the NFL. The key is offensive line. It's pretty simple to do some keywords and get their call to them. There's only so many things that the offensive line is going to do. But the skill guys, that's where the communication. That's why Coach Heupel's so where's this going to go with this? Is the skill guys? Because at that point, if the quarterback is the only one that have it, then you have to communicate to the skill guys. Now, I still think it could be done, and I think it'd be a way to even speed us up even more and be more efficient. But I completely agree that this is not something you want to throw in last game of the year when you ain't practiced it all year and change the communication way. Now, you don't want to do that. And I always thought when they said that they were going to demo this in the bowl games, I was like, ain't no team going to use this. You're changing something that you did all year for one game. That's not going to happen. But I am very, very interested to see if they do this going forward, because I think it is a way teams can be more efficient and, be more up tempo, and they just have, that's something that a whole off season is good for, to talk about and see how they're going to program it and plan it out and do all that. So
yeah, I was just laughing because I think they've probably demoed the hell out of it and look at it really close. I think it could be really valuable when you have a young, especially on the other side of the ball, when you got a really young secondary. That could really help a young secondary just know how to line up and kind of play football. But as far as Hype's offense goes, I don't think you want to do anything that kind of messes with the ebb and flow of how quickly and fast that moves. And there's kind of a rhythm to the way they get to play in and the way they move kind of on the fly and on the hop.
Can you imagine, though, Nico being at the line of scrimmage? Because as fast as they go, when do they turn it off in the NFL?
It's right when the snap happens.
That's when they turn the radio. So Nico's at the line of scrimmage and Hype can talk to him and say, this is what I'm seeing. This is what you need to be looking for. I mean, that's a huge advantage when you got a guy like Heupel on the sideline. I mean, that's ridiculous. I just don't think – I'm with Coach Rice. I don't think it's going to anybody other than the quarterback. I think it's going to be just like the NFL, I would imagine.
It's going to be the quarterback and the middle linebacker.
Yeah, that's it. Just one captain each. I think I agree. Who?
Bowl practices back in Knoxville. Did you guys still anticipate that Joe may play in this game?
We did early. We knew that there was a process that he was going to go through as we got into game week. And when I say game week, the preparation, post signing day or really right before it, as we got into game planning mode, Nico's gotten a majority of the reps.
You said he's with the team now, Joe. Will he be at the game? Like, will he be?
He will be. Yeah. Yep. He will.
What were those conversations like with him as you were talking through him about his decision whether to play, whether to get ready for the draft?
Everybody's got a different, process, a different, different factors are part of the decision process. End of the day, we support him and what he wants to do, where he wants to go. He's got a great football future in front of him. Excited to see that unfold on the back end of this game.
What is it like for you to be back in Orlando, especially practicing here?
Yeah. A lot of our staff too was here as well, and their administration's been great hosting us this week. A lot of great memories. Middle part of the week, we got a night where a bunch of former players are coming over to the hotel, and be awesome just to catch up with those guys.
Man, that just ended abruptly. It's like, all right, shut it down.
All right, bye.
Shut it down. Moving on. We got 354 people watching this final morning stream of 2023. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We still got tons of content coming after this bowl game, but before the bowl game, Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time, it's New Year's Eve. We're going to spend it right here together on the Talkin VAWLS Network. Fan call-in show going into the game. We'll do the tailgate show on Monday, an hour before kickoff. We'll do the post-game show immediately following. I'm thinking about doing a live stream next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and kind of recapping the season. And then we're moving full steam ahead. We're going to continue to cover the transfer portal. We're going to cover recruiting. We're going to do live film breakdowns. We're going to do all kinds of fun stuff throughout the offseason. So make sure you guys are tuned in, dialed in, so you don't miss any of that content. Go check out the merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The Colt of 8 is rolling out now. You want to get in where you fit in, you can grab a Colt of 8 shirt. Nobody's going to know what this shirt means except for you and except for us, and except for the Colts. So go check it out. Talkin Vols letter shirts, everything is there. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin Vols. The link is also in the description down below. You want to support the channel a little bit more, hit that join button for $1. $1 a month. You keep the lights on around here. You give me the opportunity to keep this channel moving forward and growing, and we appreciate your support. Even if you just give $1, you get custom Talkin Vols emojis. You want to come on the fan call-in show, you got to be a member of the channel. But if not, hey, that's cool. Somebody DM'd me the other day, and they apologized because they couldn't donate to the channel. I was like, no, don't ever donate if you can't afford to donate. Don't ever worry about that. Just come hang out, be in the chat, be in the comments, have a good time talking Tennessee football. What do you guys think? That Nico interview is about 7 minutes long. You guys want to roll through it? You want to take a quick listen to it?
Let's do it.
I got to take off at the top of the hour, Boogie. Right at the top.
We got 9 minutes. We got 9 minutes.
Yeah, okay, run it.
If you got to bounce, if you got to bounce while we're listening, bounce. It's all good.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, I don't think it's changed too much. You know, I've taken every week. Like, you know, I go in the game as a starter. You know, just in the back of my head, getting reps, anything could happen with, you know, Joe. So I think I've pretty much gone in every game with the same mindset, same process.
How long do you think he's known he was starting? I thought that's what you were laughing at earlier, Coach Jay.
Yeah, I was. Mostly that, yeah. I was laughing a little bit about the helmet.
How long do you think they've known that Nico was starting the bowl game?
I think it had to have been quick. I mean, they're just, once again, as we all said, there was just no question you could ask that Joe was the right answer for this game. So I think it was quick. I think it was really quick. If he's been taking those first team reps, you know, you wouldn't be doing that if he wasn't going to be the starter. So I think it's been for a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Gamesmanship, right? Why would you put it out to the public? If you know Joe's still going to be around the team, he's going to be, you know, he's going to be at practice. And that's something I said, man, the timing of me making the video saying Joe opting out with the question marks, because it's like, you know, it's behind closed doors. That was one of the biggest points for me. Nobody really knows. But everybody, these guys in the media at VolQuest, GoVols 247, they're just sitting on it saying, well, nothing's official yet. They knew because they have sources in the building that are saying, hey, Joe's not practicing. But they didn't put it out to the public because guess what? If that leaks to the public and becomes official, well, your source is now shut down and you're not getting that information. That's the way the media works. Let's hear more from the new QB1.
Nico, talk about the excitement level, one, but also the challenge that you know you'll be facing.
That necklace is tight, too.
Rick Butler's so full of energy back there.
Man.
Nico, tell us what you think about starting for the first time ever.
Top 5 defense. You know, I'm ready for the challenge, and yeah, I'm ready to go out there and compete with my brothers.
How beneficial has Joe's mentorship been specifically for bowl game practices?
Huge, man. You know, this whole season, you know, Joe took me under his wing, and you know, I've learned so much from Joe. You guys don't even know. So. Yeah, man, I'm just still having him here with this bowl prep, and having him out here in Orlando with us has been fun. So
you go back to spring practice. How much has the game slowed down for you, just in the offense, just running tempo, all that stuff?
Yeah, a lot, man. I think it was just me, you know, learning the playbook first, and you know, I knew everything was going to slow down as soon as I got the offense down. So, you know, I think going into spring, the game will be different than last spring for sure.
How do you feel like your game has grown and you've grown as a player from this time last year to now?
Really just as a quarterback, as a man, I think I've grown huge over this past season. You know, I got a lot of cool guys in the room to help me out with Coach Hype, Coach Joey, Coach Mitch, you know, so I've really just been appreciative of the support they gave me, and yeah, I've grown in so many ways.
Thing about, man, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's not ready. This kid has been here. He went through bowl practice last year. He went through spring camp. He went through fall camp. He's gone through an entire season of game prep. Like, if he ain't ready now, he ain't never going to be ready. He ain't who we think he is.
Yeah, it's go time, right? It's just going to be shaking off those first game jitters and seeing a truly good defense kind of up close and personal for the first time, not in garbage time. But like I said, as soon as he settles down, which hopefully shouldn't take long, because as you guys see from this interview, Nico got a little bit of Fonzie in him, right? He's pretty cool, pretty laid back, pretty collected. So I think we're going to be good to go.
I was watching this interview last night in the living room, My daughter was sitting there on her phone. You know what they do, just scrolling reels like they have no freaking attention span whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I made her take her earbuds out, and I was like, you see this dude right here? I said, he's just a few years older than you. He's making $8 million to play football. She was like, she goes, is that Nico? And I said, yeah. She goes, he don't look like I thought he would look.
Oh, they look like, dude, just absolute ballers. Y'all,
yeah, oh yeah.
Tennessee fans, take a picture of that
Yeah.
and realize the history that this dude's going to make for Tennessee football. The other day when I was watching this video, I was like, dude, and I hate to put the pressure on him, but he knows he's got it. He's a future Hall of Famer, man.
Ooh.
You know, somebody commented the other day and said, can you please stop putting so much pressure on this kid? I'm like, wait a minute. No. You think that me sitting down here in my office surrounded by video games and toys, that I'm adding any pressure that's not already on this dude? And then look how cool as he is, man. He's cool as the other side of the pillow, just so calm, chill, collected. Like, he is that dude, and we're all about to find out that he's that dude. I don't know what else I can say other than go back and watch the video about the pressure and expectations on Nico. Hear it from the horse's mouth, from guys that are around him every single day. He's going to be that dude. And that's what I told my daughter when we went to the Connecticut game. And he trotted out there. I said, you are witnessing history. This is greatness. This is just watch and soak it in. And she's like, oh, I sure do like the band. And I'm like, God, Nico's on the field. Put some respect. Oh, let's hear more.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, man. Going into the season, you know, just having Joe, I knew I was going to be able to learn a lot, learn how to be, you know, a college football player, learn how to be a pro. So it was huge for me to learn under Joe this year.
How much feel like you have to take over a leadership voice or anything like that, or do you could play well?
I think as a quarterback, you got to come with everything. You know, quarterback comes with leadership, quarterback comes with playing well. So, you know, going into the game, I think I've always tried to lead. As a quarterback, that's what you got to do. You're the leader of the team. So, yeah.
How much confidence does it give you to have guys like Cooper Mays protecting you up front?
A lot of confidence, man. I got a lot of confidence in all my guys out there. But, you know, Coop coming back and playing this game with me has been huge. So.
How do you feel like your teammates have responded to you kind of taking over as the guy during bowl practices, and how do you think they reacted and responded to your style and you being the voice?
Yeah, I think they responded well when Coach Hype told them. And yeah, you know, I've tried to be good with all the guys during my time here. So I think I've built good relationships with all the guys throughout the season.
When did you?
I would have loved to see a video of that when they announced to the team because, again, his first touchdown pass against Connecticut, the way those guys responded, the offensive line. You can't tell me that Nico's not a big selling point for all these guys coming back. They know because they're in practice every single day, and they see how good Nico is. They see it.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, look, they've been around him. You saw how excited they were. They know what he can do. Look at Heupel, man. Look at Halsey. Go back. We were talking about it. Watch that practice video they dropped, and Halsey's just sitting there watching his passes with a huge grin ear to ear. They know what they got. This team knows what they got. That's why the O-line's coming back. It's going to be exciting, man. I'm about to run through a wall.
Well, you can just walk out the door if you got to go. You don't.
You
have to really.
Yeah, you don't got to run through the wall. Yeah. I felt the Ron the Don energy.
Oh, he popped in the chat.
Oh man, yeah, he popped in. It was like an immediate energy shot to my veins.
I can't wait to get Ron the Don on here Sunday night.
You know, prep around Christmas time. Around that time.
Christmas time.
I know.
Was it excitement? Was it nerves? What was that moment when you found out? What was that like?
I was excited, man. You know, I finally get to go out there and, you know, showcase my talents as a starter, so it should be fun.
What kind of specific things have you improved on in your game over
I think just seeing defense is better. That was a huge thing for me. I really wanted to learn getting the coverages and, you know, just break down defenses. I think in high school, you know, I let a lot of my skill and talent take over. But I got to this level and really just learning defenses and, you know, where bodies are going has been huge for me.
Some of the talking to Bryce Young about you and asked him
how
would you describe him. He goes, well, to me, he's a taller Bryce Young. Yeah. But just but like him, very smooth. For people who haven't seen you play, how would you describe your game, your play?
Yeah, man, I love watching Bryce. You know, I think I got a little bit of his game. I think I got a little bit of Joe's game. I think, you know, just overall, I feel like I can do everything on the field. So.
With some of the wide receivers getting hurt early, allowing like Caleb and Chaz to get more playing time, you obviously have a lot of practice time with them. How much does that help you in terms of familiarity?
Good, man. I get a lot of practice reps in with all the guys, Caleb, Chaz, Squirrel. So, you know, them stepping up, you know, I think they're ready. They've been ready to take on this role. So.
How much help is it for you preparation-wise, the fact that you had multiple weeks to get ready for one opponent, as opposed to you find out on a Sunday and you're playing the next Saturday? How big of an advantage is it for you prep-wise that you have extra time to prepare for this defense?
Yeah, I think it's a big advantage. You know, you're just itching to play at this point, just because we've been off for so long. But yeah, I think it's definitely a huge advantage.
Everybody's giddy. Everybody's giddy.
Everyone's giddy.
Yeah, I think it'll help you dissect stuff better.
What's out about Iowa's defense that you've seen on film?
Yeah, you know, they're very disciplined, and you know, they make tackles in the open field. And yeah, I think there's just a very disciplined team that does their job well. From starting up front, going to their back end, I think they all do their job pretty well. So.
What makes Joe an easy guy to learn from?
Say again?
What makes Joe an easy guy to learn from?
Yeah, you know, Joe's just, he's an open book, man. I can ask him anything, and, you know, he has no problem with giving me the answer. You know, he's been there for me since day one, so, you know, I really appreciate Joe.
One guy that's not here, but he could come back next year, and he's got to make a decision to Brew. I know he's a guy that grew up watching in Southern California.
Yeah.
How important is
I love this.
for next year?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to get Brew back. It's huge, man. You know, I think a guy like that coming back, he'll be the leader of the receiver room. You know, we'll be a little young next year, so just him coming back would be huge for me. And you know, I'm working on it. So.
You look at this as sort of a way to vault into next season, especially with some of these guys who are going to be coming back.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Coach Heupel always says it's the beginning of our 2024 season. So, you know, just going into this game, I think everybody's looking at it really as the first game of our year. So, yeah, it's been huge, man, and you know, we're looking forward to 2024.
Coach Heupel says that he expects you to make mistakes as a freshman, but he wants you to shake it off. How easy is it to shake off mistakes when you're playing in your first career start?
I think it's very easy. You know, I've always been a guy to, you know, next play type of guy. So, you know, I know I'm gonna go out there and make. I hope I don't make any mistakes, but you know.
Wait, Nico makes mistakes?
You know,
I thought he was perfect.
He makes it. You know, get my guys
Tennessee Jesus is what I thought he was.
Oh yeah, there you go.
When you told me you were going to start this game, you have a lot of them down here. What was their reaction?
Yeah, my parents were just, you know, excited to see me go out there and play. I think a lot of my brothers and my sisters were excited too. So, yeah, they're just all excited and, you know, happy to see me play.
You've been able to put weight on at all during the season?
Yeah, I've been able to put some good weight on. I think I put on, 15 since I've been here. So, yeah, I've been able to put some good weight on.
Other than lifting, what's the dietary aspect?
Man, protein shakes every day. You gotta drink them. So, PB&J at night, and yeah, that's
Can you imagine being instructed to eat peanut butter and jelly at night?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
What are you most looking forward to showing that maybe we haven't seen you do in a game yet?
I'm just looking forward to go out there and get a win, man. That's really all I'm looking forward to. However it comes, as long as we come out with a win, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, he is that dude, man. I love that interview when I watched it last night. He is that dude. Coach Hype's excited. I'm surprised he didn't say, you know, he mentioned his parents and, you know, my brothers and sisters are excited. I'm surprised he didn't say Coach Jay's pretty excited from what I've heard.
Freaking pumped, dude. I can't, man. Y'all don't even know.
The Nico era is here. We're an hour and a half into this thing, so we're gonna close shop. We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't smashed the thumbs up, smash it on the way out the door. We would appreciate it. Again, don't forget, we're gonna be dropping a film breakdown on Sunday morning. I may drop it tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows what I'll do? But we'll be live Sunday night fan call-in show, Monday morning, an hour before kickoff tailgate show, and then we'll do the live stream post-game show immediately after the game. And go ahead and book it next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna recap the entire season. We're going to talk about Nico. We're going to look ahead to 2024. Maybe we'll have some transfer portal stuff to get into. But that is going to do it for this one. We appreciate you guys tuning in. For Coach Jay, for Coach Rice, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we charge.